Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we're discussing Farscape Season 1, Episode 9, DNA Mad Scientist. The crew are subjected to terrible abuse from a power-hungry scientist. How did you find this episode?
I liked it a lot.
This is a bit more like the previous couple episodes. It's a lot darker and quite unpleasant, actually. I thought this one was quite graphic.
Right from the first shot, where we get a close-up view of an eye being pierced with a needle.
Are you into that sort of thing?
I am not. I do not like seeing that.
Yeah, it kept happening as well.
It was almost comic in that way, how they kept showing it. They didn't have to do that, but they did. All right, we get it. There's a needle in the eye. You don't have to keep showing us.
That must be life for some people, though. If you're was an ophthalmologist, you do eye surgery all the time. So you just go into the office, into the surgery, jab people in the eye with needles. I'm sure that's all there is to it.
Squirt a bit of DNA.
Yep, right in the eye. I liked how Dargo was scared to do it. Even Rigel had gone before Dargo.
But he did eventually do it because he got a map.
He can't chicken out. It would destroy all his credibility. So, I guess peer pressure and generally just wanting to go home overwhelms his fear of being stabbed in the eye.
John seemed oddly cool with it. Maybe that's not odd.
He wasn't that cool with it.
He still did it and didn't seem too unnerved by it.
He wants to go home.
Yeah. I could see that overriding any sort of anxiety.
It's a fairly painless, I imagine, procedure.
Still, it looks freaky.
Yeah, people don't go out of the way to get needles in the eye.
Some people do. You shouldn't make assumptions.
Apart from the eye torture, what about the rest of the episode? Because there was actually more to it than that stuff.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm 100% sure.
Okay, so the other stuff, when we find out early on that they need Pilot's arm, one of Pilot's arms, I thought, oh, this episode will be about trying to convince Pilot to give up an arm or trying to work around that solution and get something else. But no, they go straight to lopping off an arm, and it was brutal.
That's a real Farscape moment. It does seem like that's going to be this episode's moral conundrum. But
yeah.
No, they just take it because they're not humans and they don't have human values.
And Erin saw it coming right away. She said, "Oh, didn't you see the look in their eyes or whatever?" And then I thought, "No, they won't do that." And then cut straight to that. And they take one of the front arms too. You'd think that would be more valuable.
I don't know if you ranked them.
I would rank them.
Your front left arm, would you rather lose your back left then?
Yes.
They did seem a little upset about what they had done. In that Zan was acting a little crazy and Dargo was very angry with himself and everyone.
He even almost apologized.
He got close.
Close counts in Luxon apologies.
Of all of them, Rigel didn't seem bothered.
No, it had to be done.
Rigel's an interesting guy. I think I've said this already, but he could just be a throwaway character. But he really stirs things up.
I like his work in this episode a whole lot, how he's playing politics and then he tricks them, gets them trapped in there, and he's all about serving himself. It's great stuff.
I was kind of on Rigel's side. I thought they probably should go to Hyneria because when he said he was the guy that contacted Namtar and bartered for the maps, and considering a bunch of the other stuff he's done, okay, yeah, he's massively selfish, but still, getting maps for everyone is quite almost kind thing to do. I don't want to label it kind, but it's a valuable action to take for the crew rather than valuable for himself.
The secret story that I just invented is that he negotiated for only his map, but then Namtar threw in the other maps, and he thought, well, I'll pretend I negotiated for these, so then my buddies like me.
If there were a shred of evidence, I would believe it.
Also, why didn't they know they needed an arm before getting stabbed in the eye?
Namtar didn't seem the most trustworthy. I think he was playing them. E.g., show them things that will make them emotionally susceptible and then ask for something that they might not otherwise provide.
Hey, it worked.
It did. And he messed up Aaron.
If you're going to mess up someone, you shouldn't choose a person that has a crew. He should have just waited for a lonely person to come by, or, snatch a single person off the street. Not this crew that just visited you.
I think Namtar might not have been the smartest guy in the world. Clearly, he's scientifically advanced and capable of deception and so on, but he maybe had a case of megalomania.
Well, think about how far he came. He started off as a tiny lab rat and then grew up to be this weird, gangly thing with nipple guards and kangaroo legs.
It's very important to have nipple guards because they don't regenerate his nipples.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant the guards.
His armor stuff did regenerate. It was cool when he got shot.
That looked pretty sweet.
But yeah, his armor clothing stuff did regenerate along with his flesh. So that's quite some healing ability.
He should sell that and then become obscenely rich.
That's what Dargo said. Or Zan.
Oh, she did?
They said his research could bring great wealth, but it can't because he's still doing creepy research on victims that he finds and himself. There was quite a lot of problems with what Namtar was saying about evolution.
Oh, that really bothered me.
Evolution is not a goal-centric process. It's a continuous process.
And it's not at all about perfection.
If you have kids, then you're pretty much perfect. And if your kids have kids, and if those kids have kids, you fail if you die out without leaving descendants. Or if your descendants die out, I guess you fail as well. That's all there is to it. That's what perfect is in evolutionary terms. Pass your genes on, then you're good. there's no stuff about having the best chin, or the most knees or whatever.
4 knees are ideal.
You think that, but his elbows were actually knees as well.
Ah, yes, I forgot about his arm knees.
John compares Namtar to Joseph Mengele. Mengele.
Yes, he does.
It's quite a serious comparison.
Serious to him, Namtar has no idea what the heck he's talking about.
That's true. I guess what I meant is, okay, we start watching this sci-fi show that's on TV after dinner, and then 9 episodes in, they're talking about Joseph Mengele, and people are doing human experimentation.
Arms are lopped off. There's a failed experiment in the beginning with a bunch of faces on it.
Oh yeah, that was weird.
That was weird and gruesome, and it's right in the beginning.
Sets the
It's
tone
gross.
well.
And then there's the lab assistant with the straps on the head that's bulging and the one giant hand. This is a really disturbing episode.
Yeah, it's pretty messed up. And yeah, Cornetta's hand was unbelievably big.
This was a good episode for fans of giant hands.
Fans of people with one giant hand.
Well, Namtar had pretty big hands too.
He had a lot of knees on his fingers.
So every joint is a knee now?
Yeah. The most perfect joint.
Yeah, because it has the little shield.
It's so perfect.
Meanwhile, elbows don't, so that's why knees are superior.
Yep. Now you're getting the hang of it.
And this isn't related to what we're talking about, but when he died, that looked weird, but I liked it a lot. I didn't know what was happening to him. Well, he didn't die, he transformed. So when he went back to his original state.
When John injected Erin, she didn't immediately transform back. At first that kind of annoys me. Why is it different? But I figured Namtar had that crazy regenerative ability.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe it just affected him a lot faster.
Yeah, maybe that accelerated it.
Yeah, because he's got perfect acceleration.
Because of all the knees.
Yeah. His immune system is just built out of tiny knees. Kicking the pip out of all the viruses and stuff. John seemed a bit drunk at the end.
Yeah, he was. And then Aaron slyly took away his booze.
It never stated he was drunk. I wonder if that's something to do with ratings.
It was an unmarked vessel of liquid, and no one says anything, so maybe they could argue that he's not drunk.
Yeah, plausible deniability.
Yeah.
'Cause I know some countries can bump you up to a higher rating, but then again, this episode was so gruesome that I can't imagine alcohol would particularly worsen it.
They were okay with that mutated thing, but no alcohol. Can't have that.
They probably didn't specify that it was alcohol because they are trying not to mention things. They're human, e.g., Konata said laboratory animal, not lab rat or anything like that. However, they did leave in a subtle joke.
Which one?
This guy's called Namtar. What is
Okay.
that? What is that backwards?
Oh. It's knee.
No, it's Ratman. Because he is a rat guy. I didn't really need to explain that.
Yeah, once you say Ratman, I think that's kind of done.
I've been looking out for units, and they used a new unit in this episode.
Which one was it?
Doggo mentions that they spent 2 weekends without food.
I'm guessing that's a weekend or a week.
It's obviously weak, I guess. Otherwise, they would all be dead, or it wouldn't be that much of an issue if it was a day or something. Like 2 days without food is not very nice, but it's not a huge deal.
It means half an hour.
2 weekends was 1 hour then.
Yep.
I'd be surprised if Rigel went that long without food.
Exactly. He was eating that food off the ground.
Yeah, because it's opened. You don't want to open a new packet when there's a packet open. The relationship between the crew members seems to have been jostled up quite heavily in this episode.
And that's a big reason why I like this episode. It emphasizes that these are not really comrades in the traditional way, how they're not all looking out for one another and all happy, that they are at odds and they will perform selfish acts if given the opportunity, depending who you're talking about, but they're not all working towards the same goal. Well, they all want to get home, but home is different for each of them.
There are lines that some of them will cross, and others won't.
But there is not a uniform devotion between them.
They have each other's back for the time being.
They have each other's back because it's easier to continue on if you have greater numbers.
I was most disappointed in Zan.
Aw, why?
She is struggling to not be a violent psychopath. It seemed like she was maybe a little bit violent this episode. She didn't seem very priestly.
No, not very many priestly moments.
Mostly just helping people amputate body parts and then trying to justify it for the rest of the episode. And trying to get the better of Rigel.
Through sexy talk.
He's not really a body breeder.
I really like that phrase.
It raises so many questions that I don't want the answers to. Have you selected a quote from this episode, that you'd like to share with us?
You attacked one of your own. Would you do the same to the rest of us?
Would he? I don't know. It's more complicated than that. Pilot's arm will recover. He said he has superior regenerative abilities.
On the surface, yeah, it's more complicated than what that quote is saying. But the feeling behind it is that would you still perform amputation? Well, not even amputation, just something that is done forcefully and against someone's will and is kind of horrifying. Would you do that to the rest of us?
Dargo put himself above Pilot. They weren't equals. He was calling the shots.
Yeah, he was pretty clear about that.
Does he consider that to be the standard for everyone? Is he willing to order or force people to do things they don't want to do for not necessarily his benefit, but the benefit of the crew in general? Because they didn't sign up for that. And they definitely did not elect him.
Dargo was able to justify it more easily because it benefited more, or seemingly would benefit more than just himself. And I wonder if it were just him, if he would still have done it. Probably not, because you can't get the rest of the crew to go along with that. Hey, let me chop off Pilot's arm just so I can get home.
He would not have the majority. Not that he did anyway, but he had enough that it was a
he had support.
Yeah. It could seem a little bit selfless, even if it probably wasn't.
It's okay. He played a little guitar solo.
A Shilquin solo? Is it a solo anyway? He's the only guy there. It's not like a band.
Pilot was part of the band.
Why did Pilot ask what kind of weapon it was?
It looked very similar to a guitar blade.
Oh, God. It looked like a musical instrument.
It could be a bomb.
A bomb? Why are
Yeah,
they-
disguised as a guitar.
I know I cut off your arm, but I've got something else. I've got a bomb. It's for you. It's going to explode soon.
Back on my planet, when you cut off someone's arm, you give them a bomb.
You know what's difficult about bombs? Disarming them.
Oh my gosh, if he brought that and said it was a bomb and said it, then Pilot shakes his head.
Yeah, the Shield Queen sounded a bit like bagpipes. Sort of electro bagpipes.
Yeah,
Not the best sound, not the worst.
I was glad when it was done.
Yeah, when I said not the worst, I only said that because real bagpipes exist. I'm from Scotland, so I hear them a lot. I actually quite like them.
See, that's okay for you to say. I don't want to be labeled as bagpipe,
A bagpipist?
bagpipist.
Let's go on to the next episode.
I hope there are more food cubes arranged in smiley faces
It
or
didn't,
frowning faces.
didn't work
I'm not
that
picky.
well. It really didn't work that well. I don't think he's going to try that again.
I hope he does it just for himself, to please himself,
Oh.
while drunk.
The next episode is called They've Got a Secret. And we are almost out of the mixed up ordered episodes.
Thank goodness, even though I haven't had to adjust anything.
Yeah. I have. I've been jumping across DVDs all over the place.
Oh, my Blu-rays have been in the order you said.
Oh. Well, the next one should be They've Got a Secret.
Got it.
Let's go watch it right now. And then podcast. It's all contiguous. We never sleep.
We never stop.
Apart from now, we're stopping now.
This is the one time we're stopping.
Wait, okay.
The one time we're stopping this podcast, this episode.
Yeah. That's enough.
I don't think you got what I'm
It's
saying.
enough. It's enough. Stop.